Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting of May 12th, 2016. We have a couple of different agenda items this evening, but the first that I'm proud to talk about is the resolution for Constable Carl Sheridan. Good evening.
Good evening.
If I may, I want to read a resolution from the Board of Selectmen on behalf of the town of Dover. Whereas Carl E. Sheridan, on May 16, 2016, will have completed 42 years of service as constable for the town of Dover. And whereas during this time, Constable Sheridan demonstrated his sincere commitment and dedication to these duties, touched the lives of all Dover citizens, making the town a friendly community in which to live, and recognizing as both a public voice in the faces of town elections and town meetings. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Selectmen publicly recognizes, commends, and extends our deep gratitude to Constable Carl E. Sheridan for his extraordinary service and devotion to the town of Dover. Signed this 12th day of May, 2016, in witness whereof the town of Dover and its Board of Selectmen. Thank you, Carl. Sue's taking charge, is that what I said? Carl, on a personal note, thank you very much. Sue, thank you. If you'd like to stay, you may, but if you'd like to adjourn to this beautiful evening, you may also.
They will enjoy the evening.
Oh, I did. I wish I was coming.
Are you sure?
Don't be a stranger, huh? Take care.
I don't ask for any questions.
No, no. That's how you been able to survive.
Thank you very much. A great way to start the meeting. Next agenda item is to discuss the MBTA lease negotiations. And as you know, the town approved Article 18 at the recent town meeting, and we wanted to talk about, keep the ball rolling as far as what is expected of the selectmen and what we view of the next few steps. And we've talked about it, and actually Dave and I have talked about it tonight. We'll discuss it. We want to basically formulate the same type of model that we use in negotiations, much like a union negotiation, collective bargaining. And that is basically a team of, a working group of 3 people working together, seeking all the town inputs over the next year or so, less than a year now, to the next town meeting, if in fact it goes to the next town meeting. Now, whereas that this is my last meeting, I'll defer the selection of that very important group to the next board and the next board chairman. And that's all I have to say on that. Robin or Candace?
No, I understand the process, so thank you for clarifying it, and I think that will work really well.
Very good, thank you. If you may, on the next agenda, the next chair can handle that. Very good, thank you. Next agenda item is to discuss requesting mound displays on the townhouse walls. And I believe, Candace, you're going to talk about this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dolly. I've had the pleasure this year of being liaison to the Historical Commission, and the commission is involved in 2 very important projects. The first one is this idea that they are collecting together all of the historical maps that belong to the Historical Commission and having them framed. And they're looking for a home for those maps. My understanding is that back in the 90s, when Townhouse was renovated, lots of signage came down off the walls, and all of the walls were painted, and I can understand why the decision was made at that time not to go ahead and put things back up on the wall. But jump ahead 20 years, the request by Historical Commission is outside of their meeting room downstairs, there's one very large, lovely, pale yellow brick wall, and they believe that they can very artfully mount all of the maps that have been framed and use that wall for that purpose. But because it is a Board of Selectmen decision, I wanted to bring this to the board. My understanding is, and as I've explained it to the commission, is that we'll consider this and then the next meeting take a vote on whether or not we think that's a good idea. As I said, I do understand years ago why they tried to hold down on people putting things right back up on the walls, but I'm hoping that the townspeople would feel that this would be a wonderful learning wall to be able to come in for town business and pause and study some of the maps all collected together. So that's their request.
Great. Who's going to incur the costs of?
I'm so glad you said that. They are incurring the full cost. The commission is delighted to be able to do this, and they're looking forward to doing it. What they all believe is that information, particularly as it pertains to history in town, is only so good as it is shared. That tucked away in drawers is really not doing anyone any good at all. So they'd like to have it available and in good condition and well secured, and that's why they're hoping to do it this way.
No, the old maps, I'm sure, have great value.
Yes, some of them do, right.
The ownership of these maps is retained by a historical commission?
Yes.
Are they privately owned?
No, they belong to the Historical Commission.
Okay.
And they're already framed?
Well, they're getting them framed,
Okay.
yes.
So they're in the process of...
Right.
Well, I certainly enjoy looking at, I think there is already a map outside of the planning board office, and I've really spent some time looking at that, and it's a beautiful map.
Right. That was the one that was actually given to, I believe, to the Board of Selectmen by Justine.
I just need she had it
Right.
in her attic.
Right.
There's also in the library, same map.
Right,
It's the map of all the trails
Right.
in Dover.
right.
Historic, right, so
Great.
wonderful.
Thank you, Candace, for that. So you want to defer the vote on this until a future meeting for the purpose of, because you feel comfortable voting on it? So
I think is a two-meeting process good?
Generally serves.
Okay.
Okay.
So that if anyone had any questions, we could consider that.
Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you for that, Candace. I look forward to seeing that, actually, if in fact you vote to approve it.
Yeah, thank you.
Next agenda item is to discuss the Historical Commission's request for signage.
Right, I'll jump it back in.
Okay?
Again, the second project that Historical Commission is doing this year is, and this is another very exciting one, they've decided that it would be a lovely thing for the town of Dover to have very tasteful signs with the name each time a stream crosses one of our main roads. So Tubrek crosses Hartford and Tubrek crosses Walpole. We know where Springdale crosses Springdale. We know where Trout Brook crosses Haven. All of these different crossings. And what they're hoping to do, if everyone is aware of the sign that they use on historical homes is an oval. They'd like to use that same shape, the same idea, and it will be simply black lettering with the name of the stream on the oval, and it will be white. And Craig Hughes is very much on board with this. They've already worked out again who's going to be making the signs. Craig will be helping, he will be the one mounting them, so we'll determine the correct height. And again, it needs to just be approved by us that we're fine with that. Planning board has signed off on it. It's just about, again, take it into consideration, and I hope, Mr. Dolly, that we could vote on it at next meeting.
A couple of questions and a thought on this one. Would this have to be a donation to the town?
It could be, yes,
Well, does it have to be?
probably.
Right, okay. So the whole cost of this program will not be incurred by the Historical Commission then?
They intend for it to take care of this as well.
Okay, because I'm thinking of, like anything during the winter, snow plows have a tendency to collect mailboxes for a living. And this might be right in that line, so are they going to replace and all that good stuff going forward?
That's a very good question. I would imagine, since Craig has already been consulted on this, that in general, they intend to, it's going to be very well done. It's going to be a pole with two signs back-to-back sandwiching over the pole. And it'll probably be tucked behind some of the small stone bridges where there is a crossing. In other words, unlike a mailbox, which has to be out for the mailman, this is probably going to be further off the road, a little bit closer to the stream, and hopefully protected by the stonework.
I don't want to sort of dive too deep in the weeds, but the consideration should be made of what type of pole it is, whether it's a metal rickety thing or a nice wooden thing to accent the wooden sign itself.
That's a good question.
Nature. And it's just streams?
Just streets.
Okay. And you said the planning board approved it?
The planning board did not feel that they needed to make any kind of ruling on the sign. And so therefore, they just asked that it come to us, that we be okay with it. Since we know that these signs actually are up on all the houses as it is. It's already been a sign that's been probably approved by the planning board in the past.
I know we have bylaws on signs in town.
My intention is to run it by Walter and make sure it's all copacetic.
Well, one thing to consider when we talk about signs, as I've said on this board, we have consistently viewed additional signs in town in a negative light. So that should be taken into consideration at a future meeting. Now, this is a different type of sign and all that stuff, but please be aware of the consistent view that the board has taken on any signage in town, certainly over the last 6 years. There are exceptions, I'm sure, but perhaps public input or some other gathering of
Opinion.
consensus.
Right.
I will bring your attention to the fact that I noticed, for instance, the field at Springdale, which I believe belongs to the Dover Land Trust.
Right.
There's signs on a few of their properties as
Right.
well. So I was thinking that these stream signs would be along the same line as those. But I do realize, because we have had other organizations come to us and request that we put signs entering and exiting Dover, so.
Right. Okay, just a consideration for the future.
Good. I appreciate that, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I just do have a question about the funding of this. So are they planning, is the Historic Commission planning to raise money to fund this, or using their budget?
Using their budget.
So then will they be doing this over a number of years?
No, it's
They can do it all
not
in
so
one.
numerous.
Okay.
In other words, I'm going to, I wish I could say off the top of my head whether it's 8 signs or, in other words, it's not a huge project. But it'll be, I think, a very appreciated one for people. I mean, it's curious how many people know the way the streams meander through town. And I think it's always fun to find out and say, my gosh, this is coming out of the back of Channing Pond, and it's going all the way over to Claybrook, and we're seeing it cross under Haven Street, that kind of thing. Interesting.
Good. Well, thank you for that. Why don't we go further down the agenda? And the next agenda item is the renewal of the Carroll Community Center license agreements. And I believe, Gray, you can speak to this?
Yes, Mr. Dolly, that is, I'm sorry, a little misleading. There's one license agreement renewal for Carroll Community Center, and the other is over at the 5 Whiting Road property.
I think historically, though, we've...
Yeah, we kept them together, so
One in
sorry about
discussion.
that.
That's
Yes, yes, so in recent years, the board has looked for a 5% increase typically. They start with a 5% increase with the tenants at the community center, and Aaron of Aaron School of Dance has agreed to a 5% increase with all of the same terms, essentially, from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2017. And Doug over at Whiting Road, Doug's Automotive, has agreed to $400 per month rent, which he has done for the past several years. Given the condition of that building, the board has not sought an increase in the past.
Very good. No other modifications to the license agreements other than the monetary values? Oh, at least one monetary value.
None.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm dealing with these. I appreciate both small businesses working well for the townspeople of Dover. These are repeat customers, so to speak. I take it they both have certificates of insurance in place for the benefit of the town of Dover. To that extent, do you know the years that they've been a tenant?
Erin has been there for many years. I believe she was originally a part of the Park and Recreation Department, and when she broke off, that was some years ago, she moved across the street, and Doug has been several years, perhaps
Yeah.
6, 7
6,
years.
7, something.
At least 6 or 7. Carol, you were a big customer at Doug's until recently.
Still am.
That's great. I don't have any changes that I would advance for these both these license agreements. Candace or Robin? That's great. So I'll make the motion. First one, to approve the license agreement between the town of Dover and Dover Automotive for use of the portion of 5 Whiting Road, as read by Greer. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Are we going to sign those agreements this evening? Yes. Okay.
Each, so 6 total.
But
Just to Jim.
Just
Is
you,
that both of them or?
just one of
That's
your,
both contracts,
Okay.
yes.
are we only
Three each,
approved
Jim.
one?
Right. So the second motion that I would like to make is that we approve the license agreement between the town of Dover and Erin School of Dance for use of the portion of the Carroll Community Center, specifically 2,040 square feet located on the 2nd floor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I'll sign both. So there's 3 copies of each?
That's correct.
Okay. Bear with me while I do this, please. Thank you. Good. Thank you for that. As we skip along, and to the next agenda item is vote to accept gifts of music stands from the Council on Aging Friends. And I'd like to spread the wealth. Would Candace and Robin like to take this agenda item?
I don't know.
No?
No.
Candace, want to read?
I'm happy to do. This was a request that the Board of Selectmen approve the gift from the Friends of the Dover COA. The 20 portable music stands will be stored in storage space in a plastic bin. Are there any questions?
It's from the Friends of the
COA.
Council on Aging. Very good.
Right.
Approximate value, very good.
And the purpose of the gift is for use in ukulele class, weekly.
Good. Well, I do not have any, I have no questions other than to thank the Friends of the COA for this gift.
Do
How
we need to
nice.
specify your name?
And there is actually a very nice illustration of the stand
Probably.
in the packet. Very nice.
Good. So either one of you like to make the motion?
Certainly. I move that we approve the gift from the Friends of the Dover COA of 20 portable music stands.
That has a value of approximately $160. I'll second that motion. And do I hear any questions? None being heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Only one sheet.
The next agenda item is the review of the Maya's fiscal 17 renewal proposal. Greer, I believe you're going to speak to that also?
Yes, I can. Once again, Maya has offered the town of Dover a renewal proposal for the town's property casualty and workers' compensation insurance. They are offering us a rate lock on our premium with a ceiling of 7.3% if the town is to renew its insurance this year, and that would be adjusted according to loss experience the town has had in recent years. So we are asking the board to consider entering into this renewal agreement with Maya for fiscal year 17.
Okay.
So this is, the rate increase would be up to 7.3%, or it gets locked at
It would be
7.3%?
Rate increase. It's been a rate lock in past years. I can check
Okay.
that. I believe it's a rate lock of 7.3%.
Yeah, after this.
And it's for all three coverages?
It's for property casualty and workers' comp. That's right. Our police and fire and our EMT insurance are purchased separately.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the workers' comp gets adjusted
by
based
the
on
loss experience, and we do expect that there will be an increase this year due to recent loss experience. We've had a couple of long-term claims.
Okay, and they haven't had an increase in how many years?
Last year, they did not offer us a rate lock. The preceding 2 years, the town entered into an agreement with Maya for 0% the first year and 2.5% increase the second year.
Okay, so the 7.3 contemplates the workman's comp audit, a workman's comp audit?
It is 7.3, it may be adjusted, and I believe it will be upwards of that based on our loss experience. We have one claim that has been outstanding for quite some time.
So the 7.3 increase, what is the driving piece behind it, I guess?
I can't
Have they-
answer that. I do not know. That's just the offer they made to the town. I could get more information on that and get back to you at the next meeting.
That would be helpful, because from my experience this year renewing mine, the market is really flat, so.
Okay.
So it may be driven by the workers' comp, which I think it might be.
There will be a significant increase this year,
Okay.
yes.
Right, so
Yeah, I
if you
believe
could
we're
just-
actually going to have a 35% increase
Okay.
in workers' comp. We have a couple of very long-term,
Okay.
So the 7.3 contemplates the reserves they've set up on the initial claim
that's
versus the
right.
payout? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Okay, I'm satisfied with that, but I'll defer to Candace and Robin. on whether we
I'm
can
satisfied
vote.
with that too, but, if maybe they could give us a little more information.
I can get
Yeah,
more
that would
information.
You feel comfortable voting for
Yep.
this? Yes.
I do too, thank you.
Okay, then, where are we?
You're going to make a motion to accept the rate increase for fiscal year 2017 for the property liability and workers' compensation coverages for the town of Dover of 7.3%.
So moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
I'm here to help.
Wow.
Tit.
Do I have to sign anything, Mona?
No.
Thank you. Okay.
Get ready.
We have 10 special licenses under our next agenda item, which is other business. And I'll read them, and then we'll vote as one. The first one is a retroactive special license at the Connors Center on May 6th. The next one is in a couple of days at the Charles River School, which is the Spring Fling. On the 21st of May at Elm Bank, there'll be a wedding. On the 24th in May at the Connors Center, there'll be a reception dinner. At the rest of the Connors Center, but on June 11th, there'll be a wedding. On June 18th, there's a wedding. On June 21st, there's the BC President's reception and dinner. On June 24th is the wedding rehearsal, followed by the next day, hopefully, the wedding. And finally, on the 26th, we have another wedding at the Connors Center. And as I peruse these, the chief has authorized all of the fees to this, including the retroactive one. We're getting away from the retroactive ones, which is good. We used to have a lot more of those, so that's good. Good. The chief has signed all of them, so I will make the motion that we approve the special licenses as read. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. And I might add, one of my first meetings as a selectman, there were a bunch of special licenses, and a lot of them were weddings. And I made the comment that of all these weddings, I'm not invited to one. And all my years, and Carol remembers probably the comment, all my years, I've never been to a
I
wedding.
thought you were going to tell me that you were going to be a guest at one of the 10.
I only say, Carol, if you can't have fun up there.
Absolutely.
And I thought you were going to say from that point forward, you kept being invited.
Yeah. Keep them here with us, while we just sign these. Once again, please. Thank you. Fabulous. Next agenda item is to approve the April 14 and April 26, 2016 meeting minutes. Lorna, thank you for these.
You're welcome.
As usual.
Timely and good.
Yes. The 14th meeting that we're looking at included the discussion on the acceptance of Open Lane and Clover Circle public ways. We discussed the off-street parking with Dunkin' Donuts. I read these earlier, I had no comments, excellent minutes.
Me neither.
Agree.
Good, I'll make the motion that we accept the meeting minutes of the Board of Selectmen on April 14, 2016 as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. On to the April 26th meeting minutes. You take it there's been no changes since I reviewed them? No changes? Good, thanks. I don't have any further changes. Cancel out?
No.
I'll make the motion that we approve the meeting minutes of the Board of Selectmen of April 26, 2016. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next agenda item, citizens' comments. And I have one on behalf of the Peter McGowan, our police chief. On Sunday, June 5th, the Dover Police Association will be holding their annual open house and cookout family fun day. And if you recall, last year they had to skip it because of the ongoing construction, so they're looking forward to a great turnout from the town, including all the children, and come in and see the new construction. And I believe there is, done about 99%.
99.9%.
Not the kitchen.
No.
That's next.
So we encourage everyone to visit on Sunday, June 5th. Do we see the event will be held from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Very good, thank you. And that is my citizens' comments.
And I have a citizen's comment.
Please.
Mr. Dolly, I would like to thank you very much for your years of service to
thank
the
you so
town of
much.
Dover. It's been a lot of fun serving on the Board of Selectmen with you, and I'm really going to miss you.
Thanks, you probably.
But I'm going to try to keep these meetings, I'm going to continue the tradition of keeping these meetings on time.
Thank you.
And I would like to add, I have really had the opportunity to learn from the best.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Carol?
But I would like to add that I think we should all give you a round of applause.
You've been holding those for 9 months.
Being an Indian, these aren't clean, they've never been worn. And I'm a returning pair of jeans.
For the purpose of knowledge.
Carol collects socks wherever she goes. And she was telling the story shortly before she left the board as chair last year. And I had made for her, Carol's retirement party, I don't know how many.
A dozen.
And,
You can never go wrong with blue
It's
socks.
Dover Board of Selectmen socks. But, so thank you.
These are
Thank you,
very
Carol.
nice.
Okay, never mind. Thank you very much for that, Carol. Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you, Rob. Are there any other citizens' comments? I see citizens out there, so please feel free.
Monday, election day.
Thank you so much.
I have one.
Monday, election day?
No, I'm serious on that.
Yes.
Return to one of your earlier topics. And I think the idea of displaying those maps somewhere is crucially important to the history of the town. Are these the originals or facsimiles?
My understanding is that some are the originals. They have been able to gather them. Some of them have come out of the library. They've tried to reclaim the ones that were on loan to the library. I believe the library has made copies of some of them, but these are the originals.
My question therefore would be, given that this building is open quite a large number of hours in the course of a week, is there any concern with security of those documents?
I'm glad you asked the question. Dr. Kruskal has taken this project on himself, and as I think he is a very experienced collector of antiquities and very knowledgeable about not only the maps but other items. And I think he is keeping track of this to be certain that if it is really a very expensive item, then indeed maybe it shouldn't be on display, or maybe it should or it should be bolted to the wall in some way so that it really would be secure.
That would be my concern, that somebody, for whatever reason, would try to take one,
Right.
of great historical importance,
Right,
especially for the one and only,
right.
or, God forbid, deface it, something like that. Those are very important documents to the history of the town, and they should be protected somehow. There are multiple ways to do that, but
I appreciate your saying that, and indeed, this has been a subject of conversation in the commission, so thank you, and I'll definitely pass that information along. Thank you.
Excellent point, thank you very much. At this point in the meeting, our next agenda item is executive session, and we're going to executive session based on the polling I'm about to do for the purpose of considering charges brought against the current town employee. And if you will, Rob McCandless, do you agree?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
and not to return to open.
Not to return to open session, thank you. Rob, do you agree?
I do.
Yes?
I do
Candace,
agree.
thank you. With that in mind, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good night and goodbye. Thank you very much.